Hi, my name is Karpo Telewoda and I'm from Liberia, West Africa, and I've been cooking all my life. As a little girl in West Africa, you have to learn to cook. Cooking is something that I've done for as long as I can remember. Today we're going to be cooking jollof rice. Now there's a story behind jollof rice. Jollof rice is a popular dish in Africa. But every country you go to have their style of cooking jollof rice. In Liberia, when we cook our jollof rice, it's usually with mixed vegetable. The next country, Nigeria, they cook their jollof rice but have no mixed vegetable. So when you look at it, they look so different. If you eat jollof rice from one country to the other, the taste is so different. Today we're going to attempt to cook jollof rice the Liberian way.
Okay, so I have always realized that rice is a big part of African cooking traditions. And doing some research, I discovered that rice cultivation techniques that we use in America actually are from West Africa. They came over on the slave ships with the Africans who were enslaved and brought to this country. Very much against the myth that Africans were just brought for their strong bodies. They actually brought over very defined skill set, rice cultivation being amongst them. Cultivating rice is really, really difficult, and so the West Africans had like a long-standing tradition, thousands of years old, for cultivating this rice. And then fast forward into Carolina, rice cultivation became a big part of the economy and exported all over the world. When you were back home in Liberia, did you cook with your aunties, with your mother primarily, like for family gatherings? Would everyone cook together? How did that work?
The aunties, the mothers, and the daughters, they did the cooking. The boys went to maybe go fishing if they wanted to get fresh fish from the river or something, or the boys were the one that went to work to bring home the money. I mean, that was a long time ago. Nowadays, the ladies are out there working too. But learning to cook back home is like all the girls in the kitchen and everybody just take part in cooking, you know. Or we could take turn cooking. Today could be my turn to cook the rice and you cook the soup. And then whatever then sometimes in some household, whatever you're good at. Like I might be good at cooking spinach and you might be good at cooking cassava leaf. And so when the house decide to cook whatever food they want, whoever cooks that food the best is assigned to the kitchen. And it's not, we don't look at it like choice, you know. So it's not something like you say, oh my God, I have to cook today. It's such a pleasant thing. It's such a time the family spend together, you know. That's how we look at it. Spend the women spending time together. It's the time when you share stories, you talk about your days, and you talk about, you know, the mothers are telling the girls what to expect in life, talk to them about growing up, about boys and all of that. All of those things are done in the kitchen when the women are cooking. You learn to cook without even knowing you're learning to cook, because it's such a fun time. So many things goes on when you're learning to cook. So
why did you decide to start cooking for other people?
I've always liked cooking, even though I ended up being a nurse. I like cooking because it kind of brings the family together. And I had this yellow orange rice, which is my own recipe, and I call it my signature recipe, and I name it after myself. It's called Karpo on my menu. So this Indian guy was sampling the food, and he tasted this rice, and he asked me for the recipe. And I said, why do you want a recipe? He said to me, if I have this rice in my restaurant, no Indian restaurant in New Jersey can top me in sales. And I asked why is that? He said it's so unique. He said I've been to a lot of restaurants even African restaurant, haven't had this particular food. He said, I've eaten jollof rice from other countries. I haven't had this. I said, but this is not jollof rice. This is my original recipe. And I told him, you know, I wouldn't want to give it to you since you think it's, no, he told me it's going to make him a millionaire. And I said, really? If it's going to make you a millionaire, I want to be a millionaire too. So that's how, that's what brought the whole idea about owning a food truck and maybe going into cooking for sale. That's what brought the idea to me, because I figured if I have a recipe that can somebody believe in it so much that it could turn them, it could make them into a millionaire, why not for myself? And so based on that, and also the salad, another thing I had was a salad. Even though it's African salad, or I call it African salad, but when you travel from one African country to the other African country, they all have their own salad, which is different. But everybody have a twist to their own salad. So I came up with my own twist, which is slightly different. So even if you went to another Liberian person house and they say, this is the African salad, it might be different from mine, because everybody tried to make it look a little unique or a little different from the next person. So between my African salad and my orange yellow rice, this guy told me he wanted these two recipes, and I told him no. But that's how Mokoli was born.
Good for you,
and
Karpo.
Ever since then, those two recipes, those two things on the menu are like my top selling ones.
Wow, so he was correct. He was correct.
He was right.
How do we get to taste this Karpo rice and the salad? But we can find Mukali, the food truck. They should call you directly.
Okay, you can call me directly at 908-229-1426. I'm in the process of working on a website.